nice to see you. That's my dog voice. There you go.
Wait, let's hear it.
This is hello, Lionel. Nice to see you. How are you, sweet buddy? Hello, my little friend. You're just relaxing. I know that's a good thigh to relax on, isn't it?
Always my favorite.
It sure is.
Welcome to Unconditional. I am so excited for today's guest, for you all to hear today's guest. I should say guests. Today we have Azita Ghanizada, who I have actually known for like 15 years from working with her a long time ago. And her dog Rumi, who is the most precious ever. And they're both, Azita's just an incredible person anyway, but I really love this conversation and I cannot wait for you all to hear it.
No,
oh, sorry. Oh my God, I shouldn't do that. Oh my God. How
Sit
are
down.
you? Oh my God. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you.
After 15 years.
I know.
This is crazy.
I know. Where does 15 years go, actually?
I don't know. Like in Azita was on Psych with us, my God, in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Sendil Ramamurthy and myself.
Love Sendil so
Bollywood
much too.
Homicide.
Bollywood Homicide. It was so good. It was so fun. That's one of my favorite episodes, actually.
It was such a fun episode. They threw me into like a 30-person dance and gave me a day to learn it.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You had to do that whole thing on
That
stage
whole big
and the
thing.
Oh my God. You were
and
so
I
good.
didn't even lie and say I was a dancer. They just were like, you can figure it out.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Okay, bud.
Okay.
Here, monkey. Will Rumi be jealous if I give him a bone? You know what? I won't, because I don't want her to see it. Okay, so first off, congratulations on Suits.
Oh, thank you so much.
Azita's on Suits now.
Yeah,
And
Suits LA.
Suits LA, baby.
Suits La.
But we're actually here to talk
Yeah.
about Rumi.
The most important thing in my life.
Most important thing probably in the world.
Yeah.
What? All right, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
I need to know everything about this beautiful. She's so funny with her little underbite.
So it's
So,
her smile.
First off, before we even get to that, did you grow up with dogs or pets?
No. And it's so funny. I have that like traditional, you know those memes when you see like Muslim families when they're like, I don't want to see the dog. Get that dog. Never bring the dog to my house. Forget it. That dog does not exist for me. And then like fast forward to a year later, they're like, oh, Rumi, how's my grandbaby? Oh
my
baby
God.
Rumi. Like, I mean, nothing has ever loved my parents more than my dog has.
Isn't that incredible? This is my favorite thing about them. One of my favorite things about this is a common.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of interviews where people have talked about that, sort of like this idea or what that was like in their house growing up.
Yeah.
With the dogs, and then like how their parents were around it, and then how they are now.
I think culturally dogs were outside mostly. They were like farm dogs.
Yeah.
They were land dogs,
Yeah.
you know, like Afghanistan is so, farm country. So
You're born in Afghanistan?
my family's from Afghanistan.
family's
Yeah,
from
I'm from
Afghanistan.
there. We fled
Yeah.
when I was a baby. So I grew up in Virginia actually. But
Wow.
and I think we like fostered a dog maybe or had a dog for like a minute. I don't remember. But my first interaction with a dog was a little scary because it was bigger than me and it play bit me and I didn't understand that as a little kid. And it didn't bite my skin or anything, but to me that was so nerve-wracking. So I didn't really get into dogs until I was an adult. And then like one of my best girlfriends, I like was watching her dog while they were in Texas, and it was a little tiny Yorkie named Kokomo, and she was so fancy. And then my ex-partner had a dog, and unfortunately she passed away really young.
Oh.
And like a tragic accident in New York. And
Oh God.
it was really devastating. And then, he and I both wanted to get dogs again. And then when the pandemic happened, it was like maybe in my heart, I was like, this is the perfect time because I'll have all of this time to devote to a doggy. Are you okay, Linus?
Linus, what doing over there?
Okay, buds?
Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart.
Good boy.
So, Rumi came to me through the LaBelle Foundation.
Oh yeah. They're great.
They're so great.
Yeah.
But this was a time, actually her gotcha day is April 3rd. She was 8 weeks old and they said, you can't meet the dog. You can't come see the dog. Here's 2 photos and you have to let us know in 24 hours. And I was like, dun, dun, dun. And they said she was a boy named Chip.
Oh my gosh.
And she came out of the Bakersfield
Shelter.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I wanted a girl. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this dog, and it's going to be named Rumi. And I think
Rumi, you're
out.
a queen. Linus, we can't play. Linus and Rumi both have hurt legs right now, so they're here hanging, but they're not. Oh, buddy. Come here, bud.
Stop.
Come here, bud.
Oh no!
Don't tease her. Linus, don't tease her.
Come here. No, she's like, I want to be down. Doggy languages. So, but yes, so I had to make that decision, and it was, I was like, you know what? Yes, because the photos that they sent, and I'll send them to you, were so adorable, and I named him because it was a boy at the time, Rumi, after the poet, because I wanted it to be something. Rumi was initially born in Balkh, Afghanistan, and I thought, oh, how cool! I get to teach little kids about a poet. Wow. That's like so obscure when they like come up and go, what that doggy's name?
Yeah.
And so that's how Rumi came to me.
Oh my God. And you just knew. You took the leap.
I took the leap of faith, and I picked her up the next day. I was so panicked. And immediately I was like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. And she was so little. She was 2.5 pounds. And Rumi, Bubby, sit down. Sit down, please. I took her to the pet store, and they were like, why are you buying all these masculine things for this little girl?
How did they get that so wrong, by the way? I'm sorry, but that's really messed up.
And I was like, what do you mean? She was so little, and they turned around, they're like, that's a girl. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess.
Oh, hilarious.
So Chip turned out to be a girl, and so I kept the name Rumi, and I was like, okay, so she's a she, and so she did end up being a girl, which I wanted.
I love that.
And so she was my little pandemic puppy, and and now she's like been all over the country with me, and she's a ride or die. She's a road dog, and she goes to set. She's she's just wonderful, and she's deeply impacted my life.
How?
Part of why I got Rumi was because I'm a troubled sleeper. And my doctor, I was like, I'm thinking about getting an animal, and they're like, you should think about getting an animal for the animal in the bed. And I thought, that's crazy. Who wants to be woken up and stuff? But there was actually like a real sense of calm with the breath. Yeah. And the rhythm of the animal, and the serotonin, and the consistent kind of love and play, and kind of being out of your head and having to play a little bit before bedtime, or going for that little extra walk. And so she did really help me in so many ways, lighten up on any kind of like nighttime sleepy meds or anything like that. I was like really able to, I don't know, just sleep better with her in my life.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this, what I'm happy about is hearing more about this conversation around pets and around dogs happening, where I feel like we obviously know we love our animals. We all love our pets. Like that's, yes. But now the studies coming out around like what actually our nervous system's calm when we're with them, and when we're petting them, sleeping, social situations, crowds, all of that. Yeah. Like so much is like, there's just a really good and I think necessary conversation that's happening around this now. Yeah. That is like,
the science does prove it.
Science proves
it. The serotonin boost from, one of the things that they say, especially when you're grieving and you're going through something like a grief situation, is like boosting your serotonin levels, is like walking in nature, like getting direct sunlight, petting, spending time with your pet, petting your animal, kind of like literally. And I was like, oh yeah, that's why they're called pets, because you just give them
pets all the time. But it's true. Pets. And it makes Rumi. Are you comfortable?
I don't think you are comfortable.
She's oh my goodness. Wait, so she goes with you everywhere?
Yes, she comes with me everywhere. Yeah.
And tell me about the sleep, like this, because I'm hearing a lot more about this too. Like,
yeah, I mean, there was a rhythm that we were able to find when I don't sleep well, where I do this like come to me, or I'll say, come give it to me.
Yeah.
And she'll kind of lay her body over my stomach or over my chest for a little while, or kind of really spoon up with me.
Yeah.
And there's something, I guess, for anybody that has any kind of, sleep disturbances or anything along those ways and can train the pet to do something like that, it helps lower your heart rate. You know what I mean? Like it helps bring that down so that you can actually get into a calmer state.
Yeah.
So that was something that she did essentially kind of right away.
Yeah.
Naturally. It was like her natural instinct to be calming for me. And then also, what I think is so funny is she can be such a little jerk, because when I'm like sad, she doesn't do what I think she's gonna do, which is like cuddle me and check on me. She like yells at me to go play with her.
Oh, this is funny. Like,
and I'm like, excuse me, and she's like, and she'll like get up and she'll be like chase me and play with me, and I get such a laugh out of it because I could be having like literally a crisis, like and true, not like I'm sad about, like really something horrible has happened, and she will, instead of comforting me, be like, it's time to play.
Wow, interesting. So it's almost like she reads your energy in a way that's like, no, this is actually not the thing you need right now.
Yes,
you need to go play. We need to get out of here.
You need to go play.
Yeah.
And as a kid that didn't really have a person that encouraged play, I think it's so funny that as an adult in her 40s now, it's my pet, my dog, that's like, no, we're not doing this. We're gonna go play. And it makes me laugh. And I think that's the trick to it. Yeah. Right? That it like takes me out of this like thing that feels so hard and my heart's aching. And then I'm like, oh my God, she's so funny. She's such a trip.
They make us like, they bring such joy, but they like bring out this like lightheartedness in us, like play in us that I feel like over time we do forget. And the one place I feel like we still allow ourselves to be ridiculous, and yes, I'm gonna ask you to do dog voice in a minute, is with our pets. Like we're allowed to be in that playful like state in a way that we could never be with you. We can't talk to humans the same way. We can't like play, like be like, play with me.
Yeah. And I love it with kids too. You see like the imagination on like a playground and all of these things. With a pet, it's the same all the time. Like it's just like that full time. They don't mature into like a young adult or an adolescent that doesn't, want to play with you anymore. Yeah. It's like they still want you to play with them throughout the years. Yeah. No, and I just love it. I think it's so wonderful. And I'm like grateful that play came into my life at such a later stage.
Yeah, no, it's true. How long have you had Rumi now?
She'll be 5.
She'll be 5?
Her gotcha, this gotcha will be 5 years.
Oh my God, Rumi! I have his gotcha is Christmas Eve, which is why his name is Linus. Because I didn't know what to name him, and then I saw that the Charlie Brown Christmas was on that day, and
oh, that's a sweet bunny.
No, you're going to sit still. You're going to get here. Come on. You're going to get back into your position here. No, we're not going to do that because your leg is hurt, buddy.
I know, we're choreographing 2 hurt animals.
No, it's it's really, really, really good. Hold on one second. Okay. Do you want to go say hi to Rumi? Real quick? He's going to come back in 2 seconds, but he's going to limp while he does it. I love this so much. And you all, so you're here now? You're LA now?
Yeah, I'm in LA. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm always LA based essentially for the last however many years, but she was in New York with me when I was doing my play. That was challenging. The dog in New York.
Didn't she become like famous? Wasn't she?
She did.
Like...
She was like a Broadway star.
Yeah.
I mean, less me, more her, because I would have to carry her through New York, through the, Midtown, because it's so crazy in and around Times Square. And we'd be walking, after the show or before the show, and all the other houses would know Rumi and know me. And they, other, playgoers. And they'd be like, oh, it's the actress with the dog.
Oh, I love that. I would be that. I was just
that's the actress with the dog. And because I would go out and sign, and she would be in my arm. And she hated the stage door. I mean, she loved being at the stages. She knew her job, which was to not, cross the threshold to, go down the stairs. But she would wait for the cast. And it was a really heavy play. And she would circle them and pet them and lie with them. And like, one actor had to go through this horrific, brutal scene on stage, and then would go up and lay with her during his 20-minute breaks. And so they would lay on the couch in my dressing room, and he has all these photos. And actually at the end of the play, he made a post about his special friend through the play.
Oh my God.
Because she really just loved on him after that brutality that he faced on stage for 135 performances.
Oh my God. What was the play?
The Kite Runner on
Oh,
Broadway.
oh my God. You did the Kite Runner?
On Broadway, yeah.
Yes. Well, I knew you were on Broadway, but I was like, I
we call it that because it, the movie and people are like, you're in the movie. I was like, no.
No.
It was
I see. Yeah. No. I know the book.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so that's wild.
It's a
That's
wild
amazing.
thing.
Oh my God. I okay.
So you see
Oh.
like how important this oh, look at this. They're going to be
Well,
friends. They're
what are
down
we
on the
doing
ground
here?
together, just staring at each other. I love how dogs communicate to each other. You never know. Like, because, like, it's like we don't, is this Linus's house? Is Rumi comfortable? Is Linus comfortable? They seem to be
No, they're doing
just chilling out with each other for their first time meeting.
really, really, really well. She's like a healer. I mean, they all are. But I feel like she's like, to be able to sense that and what somebody's going through, and to be able to like, respond in a way that is healing. And
They're doing the little talk.
they're doing a little talk.
Well, I will say her full name is Rumi Cleopatra Ghanizada.
Okay.
Because she is also Sphinx-like, and it has to kind of be her way with other animals. She's kind of aloof, and she was bullied. I took her to the park too much when I was, a new dog mom.
Oh, she was bullied.
Yeah, she was bullied. So she gets like, she can be defensive, and you learn all these things with your first dog, and then you really just try to set them up for success. It's like, literally, I'm talking about her like she's a kid, but that's what she is to me. She's she's my child. Like, she's a big part of my family, and she makes my house a home.
They are our loved ones. That
Yeah.
is one of the things I do really talk about on, honestly, one of the reasons I started the podcast, because I noticed after my dog passed away a few years ago.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you. She was, it was sudden and a very kind of traumatic way that it all happened. And I found myself after, like, when I was trying to, not that I hid the grief, but I just sort of went away on my own to like deal with it. I was even living with someone at the time, and I was like, I'm just going to check myself into a hotel for a couple of days, because
You wanted to hide it.
but I also wanted to be in my full, like whether it was to scream, cry, whether it was like, it was a whole thing.
You talking?
Hello, honey. And
she talks also,
it's
by
okay.
the way.
I hear you. Do you want to play? Are you confused by what Linus is doing right now? Is
Come here, Bubba.
there something we can do for you?
Come up. Quiet. Up then. Come on up. Up now. Hi, little buddy. Hello, nice to see you. That's my dog voice. There you go.
Wait, let's hear it.
Hello, Lionel. Nice to see you. How are you, sweet buddy? Hello, my little friend. You're just relaxing. I know that's a good thigh to relax on, isn't it?
Always my
It
favorite.
sure is.
Always my favorite.
It sure is. Are you guys, look, who runs this house? It's
Yeah.
like, Rumi, see, so this is why she's a Cleopatra, because she would always go to the park and sit at the top of the thing and like look down on all the other dogs.
Look at her. I love this though. She's like, I actually don't want to sit on either of your laps. I want to sit in between you
And
on
she's
this
like,
throne.
Again, it's on her own terms.
Yeah, I love it.
She
hear you,
should have
Rumi.
been a.
I hear you, Rumi.
She should have been a. I think she was stemmed from royalty for sure.
For sure. You have a royal past life. Past lives. After she died, I found myself almost having to say to people if it was like, oh, sorry, I've not been available for a while, or sorry, I've not gotten back to you, or sorry, I've just been, my dog passed away. And then I always had to be like, not that I lessened the grief to other people, but I started to feel like there was this, like, we understand grief when you say like a family member has died.
Yeah.
Like we understand, like we treat that. I'll actually say I think we could have probably more support around that too. But when it comes to our pets, pet owners get it, yes. But in general, there's a little bit like I know it wasn't, because what you were saying, like I'm talking about her like she's my child, and yet they are our family members. Like this,
Yeah.
he is my loved one. Like
Yeah.
that is that, and Peanut was too, almost like a soulmate. So that conversation I like having, and I want to have more around this idea that like we don't have to lessen the way, like, we know how they feel to us. Like, he's my everything.
I mean, listen, I think losing a pet, and I've just gone through like a big grief, and it's so hard. It's still hard. It's undeniably hard. There's so many challenges in human relationships, and I think that's part of why sometimes that grief becomes really like complicated and complex. With an animal, they're just so much inherently like your love and your unconditional like love you, happy to see you no matter what. Yeah. So when that goes away, it's devastating because you lose like a big piece of yourself, a big piece of like a big gap in your life, and they do truly make your house a home. Yeah, they do. And they complete your family. As we were outside, I was like, I always ask people what her occupation would be. And you're like, oh, I've got it all. And I want to hear all of it. I want to hear. She would work at the pet store. She would work at the pet store. I think she would actually become an investor. Mm-hmm. She would buy the pet store, and then she would have everybody there work for her. Wait, why? Why would she buy it? Why is she like? Because she loves it so much. It's her happy place. She's such a little baller. It's her happy place. So when she was little, so she goes shopping all the time with me. Mm-hmm. And since she was little, I took her everywhere. I exposed her to as much as I could. Coffee shops, people, kids, babies, you name it. So whenever she goes to any store, because she would go to the pet store, it was like one of our only outings during the pandemic to get food and to like learn, and so she goes to behind the counter because she thinks they're going to give her treats. Oh, he does that too. Yeah, he will. But she's been going there since she was 8 weeks old and knows all of the staff at our pet store. So she goes back in the back and like hangs out with them and knows the other dogs that like, and she would stay there, I think, all day long and just chill and work and say hi to people and give out treats and get treats, and just her. It's like her Disneyland. Literally. That's her job. It's her Disneyland. Rumi, is that your job? If Rumi were a celebrity in the world, like a human celebrity, who do you think she would be? My brain went to Eartha Kitt. I don't know. Oh my God, I love that. Rumi's very cat-like, and I feel like Eartha Kitt was very cat-like. I don't know. My brain went to Eartha Kitt for some reason. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, no, I could totally see Eartha Kitt. What do you think about that? Do you agree with this? I wish I could interview them. I really do. I wish I could interview them so badly. Because I often know what he's thinking. Yes. But I wish. Well, they communicate with us. They do. I mean, when I'm eating something and she's not, the indignation on her face, it's palpable. Yeah. No, they have like sarcasm. He will joke with me. He does the thing that you were talking about the play, where he'll be like, he'll swap my phone out of my hand. Oh, she hates the phone. Yeah. Hate when I pay attention to the phone and not her. And she knows when I'm working. Yeah. She goes and she whatevers. But when I'm just like doing silly things on my phone, she's like, get out of the phone and pay attention to me. No, he's the same way. And they often know exactly what we need, exactly what you were saying before about like, the difference in like play. And how did you discover the sleep part? Well, it was recommended from the doctor and then recommended from a therapist, actually. And I was like, about how to kind of work in that space with the dog when I got it. And then we just kind of played around because my sleep was really, really troubled. And I was like, the partner and I at the time wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of added stress during already a major pandemic. Right. I mean, we were going through so much. Right. So she was just such a tool to stay in joy, be present, have something to do. Yeah. Rescue a puppy. Oh. Like all these like wonderful little purpose-filled things. Yeah. During a really, really hard time in the world. Yeah. So we just kind of, it was all exploration with her, like what's the right thing. Isn't that incredible? And now she's like a star on Broadway, and she is. No, actually, she's famous. Does she? Now she's famous. She's a famous because you didn't have a dog. No, like I'm thinking we had so many dogs running around the psych set when we. Was it a dog friendly set? Oh my God, we had literally. I had 2 dogs up there. Tim had dogs up there. Like Rumi, what other stories do we have about you? Rumi has flown private.
yeah.
She's done the aeroplane, and she's also like, for work we get to fly first class. It's a very great perk
It's
of
really
the job.
nice. Yeah.
It's like maybe one of the best perks of the job is like, and this is coming from somebody who like had been on a plane once before she moved to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like I really was poorly traveled.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been so nice to get to travel in this way. But we were on Air Canada, and they moved my seat, and like I was up on like 2 whatever, and they put us in 5 something, and they were like, oh, so this seat doesn't lean back, so we're giving it to Rumi. And we and so Rumi got her own first class seat, and she's just laying in it looking at me, and I'm like,
oh my God.
And they're like, she should be the face of Air Canada. And I was like, child, do you even know
how good you have
it took
yeah,
to get myself, how hard I had to work to get this seat? And she just chilling, and it was so sweet and cute. And then on the little Aero flight, it's all catered by Air One, and they have an Air One doggy plate.
Oh my God, stop it.
And I was like, child, do you know
child, do you know how long it took? Yeah. So that part actually is very funny. Air Canada's great with the doggies.
Well, I mean, they have to be approved. You know what I mean? There's a long approval process and all of these things, because it's hard to travel with your animal, unless you go through like a series of applications and processes, which I think puts some people off from getting animals, because they're like mobile and travel, and they're like, oh, I'm always, and I'm like, actually, if you actually take care of all the paperwork, it's fine.
Wow.
So
it's
you
actually
should adopt. You should go out there, because it's
no, it's true. Well, also, why do we choose? And I think there is this, like, because this relationship is such one of unconditional love, and it is so pure, that like there is this, I mean, I don't feel alone. Like
never
when I'm with Linus, like I will go sometimes just eat. I'm more brave in the world because he's, you don't look it right now, because he's literally like this. But yeah, it's just funny how we have he is my partner. He is my partner in crime on most things that I do. And yeah.
You don't feel alone with them. I mean, she goes to restaurants all the time. We sit outside, and I think having a human partner and companion and all of that stuff is lovely. But like you said, it's lovely. But there's also some
life and humanness
that come with it. And then when you have the animal, it's just all love all the time.
Yeah.
And it's true. You don't, like I said, she makes my house a home. And I have a girlfriend who's like a very high-powered woman, lives in New York City, and she came and she stayed with us for a couple days. And she was like, I don't want to leave Rumi. She was like, you're right. But she's like, I can't get a dog. It's so busy, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, this house doesn't feel, it doesn't feel, she goes, I feel like the house is full. Like, she's like, it's weird when, she's like, it's going to be weird when I go back to my like apartment in New York.
Yeah.
And it's empty.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's so funny, because even when I was on the road as an actor a lot, and I've been on the road, she was in Vancouver with me in the spring when we did the pilot for Suits LA, and she was in New York with me on Broadway. And I think those are really the only 2 times she's work traveled with me.
Yeah.
But before, when I would, I was shooting a TV show called Alphas in Toronto, and I just remember feeling very disconnected. Like I wanted to, like I missed LA so much. I like needed the community. I wanted to go to my grocery store. I wanted to have familiarity. But when you have your pet, you are going to the local parks.
Totally. Yeah.
You're
in the world.
You're in the world. You're not just going back to your hotel room.
Yeah.
And looking over your pages for the next day, and having a glass of wine and sitting in a hotel bar by yourself, and maybe seeing one of the cast members. You're like no, I got to go walk the dog.
Yeah.
And they keep you a little bit more responsible because you're like, no, I can't stay out late because I need to go and walk my dog.
No, he's literally my excuse for everything. I'm like, yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah. Even when sometimes I'll just be like, he seems a little off today. I just don't feel comfortable leaving
him. Yeah. You're like, sorry guys, no. Or like, no, sir, I can't meet you there for that date because it's in Santa Monica and I live.
I can't be away from Linus that long. I'm sorry.
Extra hour of travel.
Is Rumi like this with all of with all doggy? Like, does she get along with most doggies?
She does. She's aloof. She like, so long as like Linus doesn't like try to play with her, it has to be on her terms.
Okay.
But after the third time of them together, she's like a buy me dinner first kind of dog.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Okay. And so this is a really personal Rumi story, and I hope she's okay telling you guys this. So Rumi, are you okay with this? Can I tell people this?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So anyway, so the reason why they thought she was a boy was because she has an external vulva.
Oh, uh-huh.
Do you know what that is?
I know. I think I know what we're going because I know somebody else. So it's an innie, not an outie.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why she's really shy with other dogs. And I didn't know that until I knew what was going on, because she doesn't like other dogs sniffing her. She doesn't like them all up on her because it's very personal. It's very exposed.
Okay. This is so interesting. So no, I know someone who had,
and this might not make it in at all because this might be so crazy.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Oh my God,
crazy.
We've talked about crazy stuff. I have a friend who has so her dog was basically a hermaphrodite, had both male and female parts. Yeah. So when you were mentioning that, I was like, because her dog as well has a little like social, so she ended up having a surgery because of the inner parts being female to like make the outer parts kind of match the inner parts. So like now she's officially, but she's very self-conscious about that area and being sniffed. Yeah.
Which is how dogs communicate. Rumi. So which is why she needs to control the and there's nothing wrong with it. She's super healthy. It's just that it's it's an innie, not an outie, and it's a rare thing. But like it was such a light bulb moment because I was like, why is she so like, she will sniff a dog from far away. She'll be like, and then she gets upset when they like over sniff her, and I was like, when I finally learned, I was like, oh my God, it's such a good. Like, because again, the social cues with dogs are so different than with humans. Like, we don't go up to each other and sniff each other.
Yeah, right.
You know, so, well,
I mean,
put some champagne in me. I've been known to do worse.
Same. But we can also tell there is a, they say that we don't. But at the same time, there is that whole conversation around like pheromones and whatnot. So we're sensing something, but we're just not necessarily saying hello by doing that. We're not going up and smelling somebody and being like, yeah, I think I trust you. Yeah, we're going to be friends.
I think we should. I think we need to tap into that like more animal instinct so that we can like make better decisions.
I would love, honestly, I want to see that show. I want to see that.
No, I mean, it's just, she's been the light of my life, and she also did a lot of healing in my family. Like I think I mentioned when we were walking up that like my dad was sick, and like my dad was so anti-dog, and she was so good with him, and we didn't know he was an end of life heart failure, but that's really what it was. But there were so many things confusing his illnesses, right? It was diabetes, it was this, it was that, and her instincts with my dad were so good that it was shocking. And she would lay her little thigh down on him. And whenever he came out of the hospital, we would go and stay and make sure he was okay for like a couple days, maybe like 2 to 5 days, depending on my schedule. And she was just like, he would hold her. And it was so lovely because I'd never seen my dad so vulnerable. So I'd always make sure that like Rumi came, and the travel was really hard on her because he was about an hour away when I moved him here when he got sick. And the travel was like hard on her, but it was like she was so happy to see Grandpa, and he was so happy to see her. And it was like such a beautiful gift for a man that never wanted a dog and really could never really be vulnerable like that with his own children, but could be vulnerable like that with an animal.
Yeah.
And it was just so special. Like it I was like, oh, you're such a good thing. Like, it's just, you're so beautiful and you guys deserve all the love in the world. And he actually had a caregiver that I had interviewed and was only there for like a week or two. And coming out of the hospital, I asked him to come and help me for the day. And she jumped on my father's lap and her ears pinned back, and she started yelling at him, like barking at the top of her lungs. And I've never seen her like that in my life. And I was like, excuse me, sir, can you come outside with me? I was like, we're done. We don't need you today. Yeah. And I like gave him the money for the day, and I like told the agency, I was like, I don't ever want to see that person. I actually don't really want to work with you guys anymore. I want to find a caregiver on my own. And it was just so sharp, like the way that she protected him. Right. This, big burly man, like but she's this little tiny thing.
But they know what's going on. They also, I think, sense extensions of us, like this being your father.
That was
blood, yeah.
No, and she knows who's her blood.
Absolutely.
Which is weird.
Isn't it wild that, they do know that. He also knows my parents as well. And he that reaction was always so, it still blows my mind that they know. My brother, he's the same way with my brother. When my brother comes over, he's just, but it was interesting what you said about like the father, that your dad couldn't necessarily even show that vulnerability and emotion with his kids. But that but in the presence of what, like this is why I always come. I'm like, I mean, I know what it is. I know it's pure, and I know it's unconditional love, and I know it's no judgment, and I know it's like safety in a way that sometimes we cannot find with humans. Yeah. But it blows my mind when I hear stories, because I've had a couple of interviews where people have told very similar stories that the things, and in your dad's case, maybe just his own emotional block or whatever that might be, but this thing about fearing the things we don't know, and then having it show up and be better than anything you could have ever imagined. Like, it's the thing that you're like, I can't get enough of this thing now that I was so sure was one way or another. Anyway, it's one of the things I love about them, and the conversations that we have about them too. It's all around this like they provide such a safe space. I mean, I know you, but a lot of the conversations I've had with people have been like strangers, and we sit down and we're handshake, but by the end of the interview, we're like, oh my God, your dog. Like, we're in this like totally different state because we've just shared this like heart opening basically experience anyway.
And that's what it is. And like, it really, that time, the 20 months with my dad in the hospital and coming in and out and all these things, like, and when she would be around him, and he'd stayed with me for a little while, and it was just, she just bright as a, it was like they were so happy to see each other. And he was like, no, Bachim, let her sit on my lap when we would drive. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, no, please. And he just wanted the love and affection. And it made me sad, because I thought, my God, had we had pets or animals, maybe he would have tapped into something like vulnerable in him that he had always been afraid in his kind of really deep masculine self to like let that kind of affection in. So I think that if more people are worried about like somebody not opening up or I just think the animal, like having a pet, is just a surefire way to like just kind of unlock something deep inside of them.
Freud had a chow that he would bring on his most difficult cases to sit in his office with him, so that people would feel, people were just more comfortable opening up and sharing if there was a block or there was something traumatic or something they were like talking about working through or whatever that was. It was, he'd bring a dog.
It's just the science and studying them, and like it's just it's phenomenal, and we're so lucky, and it's so hard that they only live like 12 years. Like, what's that saying? You only have your pet for a short time, but they have you for their entire time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, just make the most of every day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's true though. I mean, and also the loss is so great when they go, because the love is so big. And that I have this joke with a friend of mine, and we're like, and we always go back in, because you gotta, like, you can't, meaning, it's so painful when they go, but you're also like, having that love in your life is invaluable. It is. This was so beautiful. Anything else you want to add, or else? I mean, I'm tempted. I'm like, now that I know your story a little bit more, that I don't think I knew when, like, cause you're okay. You were born in Afghanistan.
Yeah. So I was there, I'd say the Shah was being thrown over in Iran. The Soviets were invading. And, we fled. And we, got we're one of the last flights out, like you kind of saw in 2021. We were lucky ones to kind of get to Virginia. And we had sponsors. I think, I always get it wrong. Our friends, the Landrys, I think they were at the State Department. So my dad was a translator for the U.S. Embassy, and we ended up in D.C. And so we grew up outside of D.C., so Virginia. So kind of very political, and like, I guess, very climactic. Like a very climactic life.
Yeah.
Like it started very intense. Like it's never like been chill. So like having an animal to like create that, like I said, that play and that chillness and that like that unconditional love has been so rewarding, like many times over. And if I could have a house full of dogs, I would. But I think she's an only child.
Yeah. I
think this one's an only child. And then the next time, God willing, she's with me for as long as possible.
Look at her.
You
She's
come
like,
to
yes,
Mama, please.
Yes, I am an only child, Mom. Well, it changes things when you have a second one and you travel a lot and you move, like that would be different. I mean, it would be also, Rumi's just like, no, it's just me.
Yeah, I mean, like if another dog like lies on me, she's just kind of, come here, Bopi. If another dog lies on me, she's like, oh, she wants to do this. Okay. There you go. There we go. You want to show everybody how you like to get your belly rubs?
Oh, you baby.
And you want to talk to them?
Rumi, are you just a baby?
You want to talk to everybody and tell them what's going on? Yeah, she's like a little human Muppet. Look at her.
She is like a little human Muppet. Oh, she looked at me. She's like, yes, I am. I am a little human Muppet.
And talk on the mic.
I'm going to get this too.
Yeah, because it's like, at the end of the day, what's your legacy? You leave people with memories of you, and that's beautiful. But really, the impact is when you're here.
Yeah,
and it's the impact for yourself. It's the impact for your community. It's the impact for the animals you love. It's the impact for the people you care for. And so it's just really about finding how to make that impact bright and bold for your specific wants and needs.
Experience. Right.
Yeah, what
it's
you
your
want.
Experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same as me. You don't have to do anything big and grand.
Yeah.
You don't have to change the world, but you can, live the brightest and boldest experience that you could imagine and paint for yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I don't think we can end on a better note than that. I love it.
Except
oh my
this.
God. Oh my God. I know. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you to Azita. Thank you to Rumi. Thank you for having such a beautiful conversation about this unconditional love. And thank you all of you for listening.